A mutual fund dropped in value by 30% from last year to this year. If the fund is now worth $10,780, how much was the fund worth last year? As with most of these problems, it's simply an application of percent times base is equal to amount. There is a little twist here, and you've got to be careful. It says the mutual fund dropped in value by 30%. So I guess just over to the side, I want to note this one little fact. If the fund dropped in value by 30%, what that means is then it is now worth only 70% of its previous value. Now this is important because the mutual fund, if it dropped by 30%, what you really want to be thinking is that it's only worth 70% of what it was. So if you think of the original value of the fund as being the base, as being the new amount, the base is what it was before it dropped. The base is what it was before it dropped. So the amount is what it was worth afterwards, and that's the 10,780. So be really careful about that. The mutual fund used to be worth 70% of what it's worth now. The now value, the value right now, is the amount. That's 10,780. The base is what we don't know. So you have to be very careful here that you're reading this properly. And the percent is not 30%. It went down by 30%, so it remains 70%. So 70% of what it originally was is what it's worth now. Think about that. If you get it backwards, you're in trouble. It was worth more, and then it dropped by 30%, so the 10,780 is a diminished value. And as usual, before you can do the calculation, you have to change the percent to a decimal, so that would be 0.70. And then you simply divide both sides by 0.7. And that will give you the base. And if you take 10,780 divided by 0.7, you will end up with $15,400. And look, it makes sense. It started out being worth more, it dropped in value by 30%, and went down to 10,780. Make sure you think through your answers after you get them and make sure that at least they are logical. The answer you get should be higher because the fund was worth more a year ago. A 30% drop means it's a 70% remaining. So 70% of what it used to be is what it's worth now. Make sure you understand that.